Since 2014, the gaming world has crowned one title each year as the absolute best, the Game of the Year. These are the games that redefined storytelling, pushed the boundaries of gameplay, and captured the hearts of millions. From sprawling open worlds to emotional masterpieces, each winner left a mark that still echoes today. Whether you're a longtime gamer or just diving into the world of elite titles, this countdown will take you through a decade of unforgettable adventures. So grab your controller, sit back, and get ready to relive gaming history. This is every game of the year since 2014. In 2014, the gaming world was craving something grand, something that brought deep storytelling, complex choices, and epic fantasy back to the forefront. BioWare answered with Dragon Age: Inquisition. As the third installment in the Dragon Age series, Inquisition didn't just live up to expectations, it redefined what an RPG could be. Set in the sprawling world of Thedas, you play as the Inquisitor, an unexpected leader gifted with a mysterious power to close rifts between dimensions. The game masterfully blends action, strategy, and decision-making. Every choice you make, from political alliances to romantic relationships, alters the world around you. And that's not just marketing speak. The consequences feel real, shaping your experience and your companion's loyalty. The open-world design was a big leap for BioWare. Each zone, from the desert sands of the western approach to the lush forests of the Emerald Graves, felt alive and distinct. Players could spend hours exploring, gathering resources, slaying dragons, and uncovering secrets. It wasn't just quantity, it was quality at scale. But what truly set Inquisition apart in 2014 was its commitment to narrative depth. BioWare's signature dialogue system returned stronger than ever, letting you craft your Inquisitor's personality across political, moral, and emotional spectrums. And the companion characters? Memorable. From the stern but loyal Cassandra, to the snarky mage Dorian, every character added richness to your story. In a year filled with strong contenders like Shadow of Mordor, Bayonetta 2, and Dark Souls 2, it was Dragon Age: Inquisition that stood tall, offering a compelling mix of freedom, storytelling, and scale. It was the game that made players feel like they weren't just playing a hero, they were shaping a world. 2014 belonged to the Inquisition, and it set the bar high for the rest of the decade. In 2015, CD Projekt Red released a game that would redefine open-world RPGs, The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. Set in a richly detailed fantasy world brimming with monsters, magic, and moral complexity, it wasn't just a game, it was a milestone in storytelling, world-building, and player choice. You step into the boots of Geralt of Rivia, a stoic monster hunter searching for his adopted daughter, Ciri, while being pursued by the spectral threat of the Wild Hunt. But this isn't your typical fantasy tale. Every quest, every choice, every dialogue carries weight, shaping the world around you in ways that matter. The world of The Witcher 3 is massive and alive. From the war-torn fields of Velen to the bustling streets of Novigrad, and the windswept isles of Skellige, every region has its own personality, its own problems, and its own stories to tell. And whether you're hunting a terrifying beast or solving a villager's mysterious curse, the side quests are just as compelling as the main storyline. What truly sets The Witcher 3 apart is its writing. Morality isn't black and white here, choices are tough, often bittersweet, and always impactful. The characters are unforgettable: Yennefer, Triss, Dandelion, and the ever-mischievous Gaunter. And let's not forget the dialogue, sharp and often laced with dark humor and real emotion. Combat is fluid and tactical, blending swordplay, alchemy, and magical signs. The leveling and gear systems encourage experimentation, letting you shape Geralt's abilities to match your playstyle. And when you need a break from monster hunting, there's Gwent, a card game so beloved it became its own franchise. Winning Game of the Year in 2015, The Witcher 3 didn't just impress, it set a new standard. A sweeping epic that balanced depth and accessibility. It showed what happens when passion meets craftsmanship. 2015 belonged to The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt, and it's a legacy that continues to inspire games even today. 2016 was the year Blizzard entered the hero shooter arena and completely changed the game. With Overwatch, they didn't just release a shooter. They created a global phenomenon. A game where every match felt like a fast-paced comic book showdown and every character brought a unique flavor to the battlefield. Set in a near-future Earth recovering from global conflict, Overwatch introduces a cast of heroes from around the world, each with a distinct playstyle, backstory, and personality. Whether you preferred the precision of Widowmaker, the brute strength of Reinhardt, or the time-bending chaos of Tracer, there was someone for every kind of player. But Overwatch wasn't just about picking a character and shooting your way to victory. It emphasized team coordination, role balance, and objective-focused gameplay. You had to work together, combining abilities, switching heroes mid-match, and adapting your strategies on the fly. It brought something fresh to a genre dominated by killstreaks and solo glory. Visually, it was stunning. Bright, colorful maps set in futuristic versions of cities like Kings Row, Namani, and Hanamura gave the game a distinctive look, and Blizzard's decision to build lore through animated shorts and comics rather than a traditional campaign kept the community engaged outside of matches. People didn't just play the game, they became invested in the world and its characters. The game's release sparked a wave of esports growth, fan art, cosplay, and online communities. It wasn't just a shooter, it was a cultural moment. And with its regular content updates, seasonal events, and loot-based cosmetic system, Blizzard kept players coming back week after week. In a year that saw critically acclaimed games like Uncharted 4, Inside, and Doom, Overwatch stood out by doing something bold, putting teamwork, diversity, and personality at the heart of a competitive shooter. And it worked beautifully. 2016 belonged to Overwatch, and whether you were a healer, a tank, or a damage dealer, you were part of something bigger than yourself, the fight for the future. In 2017, Nintendo didn't just release a new Zelda game. They tore up the rulebook and redefined what open-world games could be. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild was more than a game of the year, it was a revolution in design, freedom, and player-driven discovery. From the moment you step out of the Shrine of Resurrection and gaze across the vast kingdom of Hyrule, one thing becomes clear: you can go anywhere. And not just as a gimmick, Breath of the Wild encourages exploration without boundaries. Climb any mountain, glide across valleys, solve puzzles in whatever order you choose. It was a sandbox built for curiosity. You play as Link, awakened after a 100-year slumber to find a ruined world threatened by Calamity Ganon. But unlike previous Zelda titles, there's no rigid path to follow. Want to rush straight to the final boss? You can. Want to spend hours cooking, taming horses, or discovering shrines? Go for it. This wasn't just a game, it was your adventure. The physics system added endless depth. Set grass on fire to create updraft. Use metal objects to solve puzzles with magnetism. Experimentation was rewarded at every turn. The world reacted to your actions in ways few games had ever dared to attempt. And the sense of scale? Breathtaking. Every hill, every tree line, every ancient ruin begged to be explored. Even with minimal voice acting, the story had heart. Through memories and character moments, you uncover a deeper narrative about loss, courage, and the bond between Link and Zelda. It's subtle, but powerful. Released alongside the Nintendo Switch, Breath of the Wild didn't just sell consoles, it sold an experience. Critics and fans alike praised its open-ended design, immersive world, and fresh take on a legendary franchise. In a year filled with masterpieces like Horizon Zero Dawn, Persona 5, and Super Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild stood above the rest. It wasn't just the best game of 2017. It became one of the greatest games of all time. 2017 was the year Zelda broke free, and the world of gaming was never the same. In 2018, one of gaming's most brutal anti-heroes returned, but not in the way anyone expected. God of War didn't just reboot a franchise, it redefined it. Santa Monica Studio took Kratos, the Ghost of Sparta, and gave him depth, vulnerability, and something he'd never had before: a son. Set in the realm of Norse mythology, God of War finds Kratos years after the destruction of Olympus. He's older, wiser, and burdened by a violent past he desperately wants to escape. With the death of his wife, he sets off on a journey with his young son, Atreus, to fulfill her final wish, to spread her ashes from the highest peak in all the realms. What follows is a masterclass in storytelling and game design. The entire experience is presented in a single, uninterrupted camera shot, no loading screens, no cuts. It creates an immersive connection with the characters that's rare in gaming. And that relationship between Kratos and Atreus? It's the beating heart of the game. You're not just smashing monsters, you're teaching, learning, and growing with your son. Combat was completely reimagined. Gone were the chaotic blades of chaos, at least at first. In their place, the Leviathan axe, a brutal, weighty weapon that could be thrown and recalled with a satisfying thunk. Every strike felt personal, deliberate, and earned. And when the blades do return, it's one of the most powerful moments in gaming. The world design is tight yet rich, with realms like Midgard, Alfheim, and Helheim offering unique enemies, puzzles, and secrets. The game respects your intelligence, rewarding exploration with lore, upgrades, and emotional moments. Characters like Freya, Mimir, and Baldur bring layers of complexity and mythology to the journey. In a year that delivered heavyweights like Red Dead Redemption 2, Marvel's Spider-Man, and Celeste, it was God of War that walked away with the crown. Not just for its visuals or combat, but for its emotional depth and narrative courage. 2018 was the year Kratos became more than a god of war. He became a father, a mentor, and a symbol of what video games can achieve when heart and power collide. 2019 was the year From Software changed the rules. Known for the punishing yet methodical Soulsborne formula, they took a bold new path with Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. This wasn't just another action RPG, it was a lightning-fast, sword-clashing, nerve-testing experience that demanded mastery. And it was glorious. Set in a fictionalized late 1500s Japan, you play as Wolf, a shinobi bound by loyalty and driven by vengeance. His mission? Rescue his kidnapped lord and unravel a mystery steeped in blood, immortality, and ancient power. But this isn't your typical samurai tale. It's brutal, elegant, and drenched in atmosphere. Gone were stamina bars and RPG stats. In their place, posture, precision, and parrying. Every fight in Sekiro is a dance of steel. You're not whittling down enemies, you're breaking their will. Perfectly timed deflections, death blows, stealth tactics, and the now iconic grappling hook turn every encounter into a high-stakes showdown. And let's not sugarcoat it. Sekiro is hard, very hard. But it's also fair. It pushes you to learn, adapt, and overcome. Every defeat teaches you something. Every victory feels earned. When you finally bring down bosses like Genichiro or the Guardian Ape, it's not just relief, it's triumph. What also set Sekiro apart was its world. From the serene Ashina outskirts to the haunting Fountainhead Palace, every location felt handcrafted and rich with history. The storytelling is subtle but powerful, delivered through quiet moments, cryptic dialogue, and unforgettable battles. And Wolf himself? Silent, stoic, but deeply human, a refreshing shift from the custom characters of past From Software titles. In a stacked year with hits like Resident Evil 2, Control, Death Stranding, and Outer Worlds, Sekiro carved its own path, bloody, beautiful, and unforgettable. It wasn't the easiest game of 2019, but it was the most rewarding. 2019 belonged to the one-armed wolf, and Sekiro proved that sometimes, to rise, you have to die. Twice. 2020 brought us one of the most polarizing and emotionally charged games of the decade, The Last of Us Part 2. Naughty Dog took the raw, survival-driven story of the first game and plunged us deeper into a world torn apart by loss, hate, and vengeance. Picking up several years after the original, you primarily follow Ellie as she embarks on a brutal quest for revenge after a tragic event shakes her world. The game's storytelling is intense, unflinching, and at times uncomfortable. It forces players to question their own morals and confront the cycle of violence firsthand. The level of detail in the world-building is staggering, from the overgrown streets of Seattle to intimate character interactions. Everything feels lived in and real. The environments aren't just backdrops, they tell stories of their own through environmental storytelling and clever design. Gameplay-wise, The Last of Us Part 2 builds on stealth, crafting, and combat, but it's more refined and tense than ever. The AI opponents are smarter, making every encounter unpredictable and nerve-wracking. Whether sneaking past clickers or engaging in brutal gunfights, the tension is palpable. Beyond gameplay and graphics, what truly made this game stand out was its character-driven narrative. The performances, especially by Ashley Johnson as Ellie and Laura Bailey as Abby, are breathtaking and add layers of complexity to the story. Themes of forgiveness, trauma, and humanity resonate throughout. Despite its controversy, there's no denying the game's impact. It pushed the boundaries of storytelling in games, challenging players emotionally and morally in ways few titles dare to do. 2020's Game of the Year wasn't just a game, it was an experience that left players talking long after the credits rolled. That was The Last of Us Part 2, a masterpiece of emotion, brutality, and storytelling. In 2021, the gaming world celebrated a truly unique experience with It Takes Two, a cooperative adventure that combined heartfelt storytelling with inventive gameplay. Developed by Hazelight Studios, this game wasn't just about playing together, it was about growing together. You follow Cody and May, a couple on the verge of divorce who find themselves magically transformed into tiny dolls. Forced to navigate a whimsical, oversized world, they must work together to overcome puzzles, challenges, and emotional hurdles to mend their broken relationship. What makes It Takes Two stand out is how it seamlessly blends cooperative gameplay with narrative. Every level introduces new mechanics. One moment you're navigating a frantic rhythm sequence, the next you're controlling gravity or working through complex platforming puzzles. The creativity keeps the experience fresh and exciting from start to finish. But beyond the mechanics, it's the story that truly resonates. The game explores themes of love, communication, and forgiveness in a way that feels genuine and touching without ever becoming preachy. The chemistry between Cody and May is palpable, and their journey serves as a reminder that relationships require effort, patience, and teamwork. The visuals are vibrant and charming, filled with imaginative environments, from a garden teeming with giant insects to a cluttered workshop where everyday objects become obstacles and tools. The sound design and voice acting add layers of emotion and humor, making every moment memorable. In a year packed with blockbuster titles like Resident Evil Village and Deathloop, It Takes-Two carved out its own niche by offering something truly different, an experience built on cooperation and heart. 2021's Game of the Year reminded us that sometimes, the best way to beat the game is together. In 2022, From Software took everything fans loved about their signature Soulsborne series and pushed it to breathtaking new heights with Elden Ring. Collaborating with fantasy novelist George R.R. Martin, they crafted a vast, mysterious world that blended deep lore, challenging gameplay, and unmatched freedom. You step into the lands between as a tarnished, an exile returning to reclaim the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord. Unlike previous From Software games, Elden Ring offers an expansive open world ripe for exploration, filled with hidden dungeons, sprawling castles, and fearsome bosses lurking around every corner. The combat retains that punishing difficulty that fans expect, but now with new tools, horseback riding, stealth mechanics, and a customizable skill tree that lets you tailor your playstyle, whether that's a nimble assassin, a powerful sorcerer, or a relentless knight. The world design is masterful, combining haunting beauty with terrifying danger. From the hauntingly beautiful Erdtree towering in the distance to the eerie depths of underground catacombs, every area feels unique, alive, and packed with secrets waiting to be uncovered. George R.R. Martin's influence is felt through the rich backstory and cryptic characters that populate the lands between. The storytelling is subtle yet compelling, encouraging players to piece together the world's history as they explore. In a year where games like God of War Ragnarok and Horizon Forbidden West also made waves, Elden Ring stood out as a defining moment for open-world action RPGs, blending From Software's punishing challenge with unprecedented scale and player choice. 2022 was the year Elden Ring reminded us all why the journey is just as important as the destination, and why some challenges are worth every moment of struggle. In 2023, Nintendo once again captured the hearts of gamers worldwide with The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, a highly anticipated sequel to Breath of the Wild. Building on its predecessor's revolutionary open-world design, this game pushed exploration, creativity, and storytelling to new heights. Set in a reimagined Hyrule filled with floating islands and mysterious new realms, Tears of the Kingdom expanded the boundaries of what a Zelda game could be. Players once again step into Link's shoes, unraveling a new threat that endangers the balance of the world. The freedom of Breath of the Wild returned, but with exciting new abilities and tools. Players can now manipulate the environment in innovative ways, building vehicles, crafting unique solutions to puzzles, and soaring through the skies. This elevated sense of creativity made every playthrough unique. The narrative deepened the connection to Hyrule's lore and characters, weaving emotional threads through stunning cutscenes and engaging quests. The art style maintained that perfect blend of realism and fantasy, immersing players in a living, breathing world. With refined combat mechanics, challenging new enemies, and a vast world to explore, Tears of the Kingdom delivered an experience that was both familiar and refreshingly new. It honored the legacy of Zelda while boldly charting a new course. In a year featuring impressive titles across the board, Tears of the Kingdom stood out by proving that innovation and tradition can coexist beautifully. 2023 was the year Hyrule soared higher than ever, and players embraced the legend all over again. In 2024, the spirit of fun, imagination, and pure platforming joy took center stage with Astro Bot. What started as a charming tech demo years ago has grown into one of PlayStation's most beloved mascots, and in 2024, Astro delivered a full-blown adventure that stole the show in the hearts of gamers everywhere. Developed by Team Asobi, Astro Bot is more than just a love letter to PlayStation history. It's a celebration of creativity, innovation, and that old-school magic that reminds us why we fell in love with games in the first place. With each new level, Astro takes players on a wild, colorful ride filled with clever mechanics, playful enemies, and joyful surprises at every turn. Gameplay is tight and intuitive. Whether you're bouncing through cloud-filled jungles, surfing lava rivers, or leaping across collapsing platforms, every movement feels precise and satisfying. The game makes brilliant use of the DualSense controller, bringing textures, vibrations, and sounds to life in your hands, adding a layer of immersion few games achieve. But what truly makes Astro Bot shine is its heart. Each world is packed with personality, Easter eggs, and nods to PlayStation's rich legacy, from Kratos to Nathan Drake, from Jak and Daxter to Ratchet and Clank. It's a celebration of decades of gaming, wrapped in a vibrant, family-friendly package that players of all ages can enjoy. In a year filled with big-name releases and cinematic blockbusters, Astro Bot stood out by doing something simple and doing it brilliantly. It reminded us that fun, above all else, is what makes a game unforgettable. 2024 was the year of the little bot with a big heart. And Astro Bot proved that sometimes, the most powerful adventures come in the smallest packages. And that wraps up our journey through every game of the year since 2014. From sweeping adventures to unforgettable characters and groundbreaking gameplay, each title left a mark on gaming history. Whether you've played them all or just discovered a new favorite, these games remind us why we love this medium so much. If you enjoyed this countdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more gaming content, and ring that bell so you never miss an upload. Drop a comment below and tell us which game of the year was your all-time favorite. Thanks for watching, and until next time, game on!